For 30 years, Alborz knew nothing but the grey, relentless geometry of the Tower of Ambition. It was a legendary spire that pierced the clouds, promising immortality, infinite wealth, and absolute bliss to anyone who reached the 1000th floor summit. The rules were etched into the very stones: only upward, never stop. To turn back is to fail. Alborz had paid the toll in full. At the 200th floor, he let go of his friend's hands as they grew tired. At the 500th, he abandoned the only woman he ever loved because she wanted to rest. By the 800th, his lungs were ragged and his knees were failing. Now, standing on the 999th step, he was a ghost of a man, white-haired, trembling, his eyes burning with a desperate, hollow greed. Behind him, a sea of people heaved and surged. Their breath was hot on his neck, their voices a deafening roar. "One more step! Go! You're the winner! Don't ruin it for us!" The air smelled of sweat and the metallic tang of imminent victory. He was 1 centimeter away from godhood level. Just as Alborz lifted his right foot to claim the final step, a piece of ancient plaster crumbled from the wall, revealing a tiny, jagged fissure, a window. In 30 years, it was the first time he had seen anything other than the stairs. He pressed his eye to the crack. He expected to see the splendor of heaven, but the sight froze the blood in his veins. He saw the summit. The 1000th floor wasn't a palace. It was a barren, windswept plateau of ice. Those who had reached it sat like golden statues, frozen in place. They wore brilliant crowns, but their skin was blue with frost. They wore smiles, grotesque porcelain masks of joy, because they were trapped in a cage of their own success. They had reached the top, but there was no way down. They were shivering in the perfect cold, pretending to be happy so the world below wouldn't pity them. Then Alborz shifted his gaze downward. Miles below, near the roots of the tower, he saw a silver ribbon of a river. He saw tiny figures sitting on the grass, sharing tea, laughing in the sunlight. They weren't winners, they were simply alive. Alborz stood paralyzed. The crowd behind him screamed, "Move, you old fool! You're blocking the path to glory!" His mind became a battlefield. 30 years, his ego whispered. You sacrificed everything for this. If you turn back now, those 30 years become a lie. You'll be the joke of the world. You're only 1 centimeter away. He was caught in the sunk cost trap, the invisible chains that keep men walking into the abyss simply because they've already walked so far. To continue was easy. He just had to let his foot fall. But to turn back, that required a courage that wasn't human. It meant swimming against a river of 1,000 desperate souls. Alborz slowly lowered his foot, not onto the 1000th step, but back onto the 999th. He turned around. He looked into the angry, bloodshot eyes of the man behind him. "Are you insane?" the man hissed. "The gold is right there." Alborz's voice was a whisper, yet it carried through the stairwell like a thunderclap. "What you seek up there is a view," Alborz said. "What I seek is air to breathe. There is no oxygen at the top." Then he did the hardest thing a man can do. He took a step down. He was cursed. He was spat upon. He was shoved and called a coward, a failure, a madman. But with every floor he descended, the weight on his chest began to lift. He was trading a crown of ice for a soul of flesh. He abandoned the world's definition of victory to reclaim his own life. Days later, Alborz stepped out of the tower's shadows. His pockets were empty, his body was broken, but as his bare feet touched the cool, damp grass by the river and the evening breeze kissed his face, he felt something the golden winners upstairs would never know. Freedom. He wasn't a legend, he was just a man. And that was enough. Dear friends, we often continue down the wrong path simply because we have traveled so far. But remember, finishing a mistake is not a success. It is a tragedy. Don't let the time you've lost steal the time you have left. Courage isn't always about fighting or holding on. Sometimes the highest form of bravery is closing a half-read book, walking away from a winning gambling table, and descending a mountain that was never meant for you. If your ladder is leaning against the wrong wall, every step you take only brings you closer to a harder fall. Do not fear the descent. Starting over from zero is more sacred than dying at the wrong summit. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is stop. If this story gave you the courage to rethink your path, please like this video and share it with a friend who might be climbing the wrong mountain. Don't forget to subscribe to Root to Rise for more stories that feed your soul, not just your ego. Remember, success is defined by you, not the tower. Until next time, goodbye.